What if history didn't stay buried? What if the past wasn't just remembered, but still watching? In the quiet hills of Massachusetts, there stands a mansion that no map dares to name. A place older than the town around it, a place where time feels wrong. Locals don't go near it. Not during the day. And especially not at night. Because for over 300 years, people who enter Hollowridge Manor don't always come back the same. Or don't come back at all, and those who do return, they all tell the same story. Something in that house remembers you even before you arrive. The year was 2023 when Daniel Harper first heard about Hollowridge Manor. A historian by profession, Daniel specialized in early American settlements, particularly those with missing records and anomalies history refused to explain. Hollowridge caught his attention for one reason. It didn't exist in official records. No founding date, no ownership trail, no architectural registry. And yet, the structure stood documented in sketches dating back to the late 1600s. That alone was enough to draw him in. But there was more. An old journal preserved in a Boston archive mentioned a place called the House That Watches Back. The town of Hollowridge was quiet. Too quiet. Daniel noticed it immediately. No children playing. No dogs barking. No sound except the wind brushing against dry trees. When he asked a local gas station clerk about the manor, the man froze. Then slowly said, "People don't go there anymore." "Why?" Daniel asked. The man hesitated, then leaned closer and whispered, "Because it doesn't like being remembered." Hollowridge Manor stood at the edge of a dead forest. Its structure was colonial but wrong. The windows were uneven. The roof sagged in impossible angles, and the front door, it looked newer than the rest of the house, as if something kept replacing it. Daniel stepped inside. The door shut behind him. Not slammed, not pushed, just closed, softly, like the house had accepted him. The air was thick, not dusty, just heavy. Every step echoed longer than it should have. The walls were lined with portraits. But something was off. The faces in the paintings were blurred, not damaged. Just incomplete. Daniel reached out to touch one. And suddenly a whisper. Not from behind, not from ahead, but inside his head. "You came back." Daniel froze. "I've never been here," he whispered. Silence. Then again, "You always say that." In what seemed like a study, Daniel found an old leather-bound journal. The writing inside was frantic. Entries dated 1692. "The house is not built, it grows. We tried to leave. The road led us back. It learns us. It remembers." Daniel's hands trembled as he turned the page. The next entry stopped him cold. "There is a man among us now. He says his name is Daniel Harper." Daniel dropped the journal. His breath became shallow. That's not possible. But deep down he knew something was very, very wrong. As Daniel tried to leave the room, he noticed something terrifying. The hallway outside had changed. The door he entered from? Gone. Replaced by a wall. Footsteps echoed upstairs. Slow. Heavy. Intentional. Daniel looked up. "No one's here," he said. But the footsteps stopped right above him. Then came a single creak, as if someone leaned down and listened. Hours or days passed. Time made no sense inside Hollowridge Manor. Daniel began seeing things. Shadows moving where there were none. And then he found the basement. The air down there was freezing. In the center of the room stood something impossible. A massive root-like structure, growing through the floor, pulsing, breathing, alive, and embedded within it bones. Hundreds of them. Daniel stepped closer, and suddenly the voices returned. Not one, not two, but many, all overlapping. "We are the memory. We are the house. You built us. You always build us." Daniel screamed, "I didn't do this." But the voices laughed. "You did. You will. You always do." Back upstairs, Daniel ran back to the journal. A new page had appeared. Fresh ink, written in his handwriting. "I understand now. The house is not haunted. It is remembering. And I'm part of its memory." The next morning, the town of Hollowridge was exactly as it always was. Quiet. Still. Unmoving. A passerby might notice the manor in the distance, but only for a moment. Because if you look away, it's gone. No road leads to it. No map shows it. No record proves it exists. But sometimes, if the wind is just right, you might hear a whisper. "Welcome back." And somewhere in an archive, A new journal has appeared. Dated 2023. Written by Daniel Harper. If you're reading this, the house knows you now. It was heavy, a thick shroud of dust and forgotten secrets that seemed to swallow the sound of my own breath. Among the relics of the past, something modern caught my eye. A leather-bound journal, looking entirely too new for this neglected corner of the basement. The name on the cover sent a chill through me. Daniel Harper. And the date 2023. But Daniel had vanished 6 months before that date was even possible. My hands trembled as I opened it. How could a dead man or a missing one write from a future he was never supposed to see? The pages weren't filled with notes. They were maps of madness. Sketches of the manor that shifted as if the architecture itself were breathing and evolving. His handwriting grew more erratic toward the end, speaking of time folding in on itself, of rooms that only existed when you weren't looking at them. The final entry was a direct plea. Emily, if you find this, don't come here. It knows you already. My name, written in his desperate hand. Sleep became a stranger. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the crooked silhouette of Hollowridge Manor standing against the sky that shouldn't exist. The pull was magnetic, an inevitable gravity drawing me back to the source of the mystery. I couldn't stay away even if it meant my end. I reached the town near the manor by late afternoon. It looked normal from a distance, but as I drove through, the air felt stagnant and cold. The people I saw moved with a mechanical precision. They didn't look at me, but their movements felt choreographed, as if they were performing for an unseen observer. I stopped at a local diner, hoping for answers. The waitress approached me with a smile that was too wide, her eyes fixed and unblinking. "You've already been there," she whispered. Her voice had no inflection, just a hollow resonance that made my skin crawl with fear. Back in the car, I found a loose photograph tucked into the back of the journal. It was a picture of the manor with my own face in the window. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the road ahead seemed to stretch and warp, leading me directly to the gates of the manor. The house stood like a silent sentinel. When I stepped inside, the very walls seemed to thrum with a low, rhythmic heartbeat that vibrated through my boots. Whispers echoed from the shadows. Two now, they murmured in 1,000 overlapping voices. The record is almost complete. At the end of a long, flickering hallway, a figure appeared. It was Daniel. He looked exactly as he did in the old photos, untouched by time. He didn't speak with his mouth. He simply led me deeper into the house, where the geometry of the rooms began to fail and fold. Every step we took led us further from reality. "The house doesn't just haunt us," Daniel finally said. "It remembers us. It builds a perfect record." He led me down to the basement, but it wasn't a basement anymore. It was a vast subterranean chamber filled with a glowing, pulsing root structure. Embedded in the roots were faces. Faces of people who had gone missing over decades, their expressions frozen in a state of conscious, eternal dreaming. I tried to run, to flee back to the world I knew, but the house moved faster. The walls shifted, blocking every exit, every hope of escape. I watched in horror as the roots began to carve my name. Letter by letter, EMILY was being etched into the very foundation of the manor. The cycle was complete. Back in the university archive, the dust settled once more. But on the shelf, a new journal had appeared. Two names were now embossed on the cover: Daniel Harper and Emily Carter. The house had finished its record. For now.